Members of the House, I will remind you that the House will still be in order. We have a good bit of business to get done. The sooner we get everybody back in position, the sooner we can begin and the sooner we can end. Ready? Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Jan Tankersley, 160th District Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals had under consideration the following bills of the House and is instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1099 do pass, House Bill 1100 do pass, House Bill 1155 do pass, House Bill 1156 do pass, House Bill 1157 do pass, House Bill 1159 do pass, House Bill 1160 do pass, House Bill 1161 do pass, House Bill 1162 do pass, House Bill 1163 do pass, House Bill 1164 do pass, House Bill 1165 do pass, House Bill 1166 do pass, House Bill 1167 do pass, House Bill 1168 do pass, House Bill 1169 do pass, House Bill 1170 do pass, House Bill 1171 do pass, House Bill 1172 do pass, House Bill 1173 do pass, House Bill 1174 do pass, House Bill 1190 do pass, House Bill 1191 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Tankersley, 160th District Chairman. Representative James J. Collins of the 68th District Chairman of the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security has had under consideration the following bills of the House. Instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 347 do pass, House Bill 1146 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Jay Collins, the 68th District Chairman. Representative Mike Jokas of the 138th District Chairman of the Committee on Small Business Development submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Small Business Development has had under consideration the following resolutions of the House. And instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. House Resolution 579 do pass by substitute. House Resolution 627 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Mike Jokas of the 138th District Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
All right, we're going on now to the local calendar. Going on to the local calendar. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 1099 by Representative Hatchett of the 150th Lawrence County. House Bill 1100 by Representative Hatchett of the 150th Lawrence County. House Bill 1155 by Representative Barton of the 5th Gordon County. House Bill 1156 by Representative Hatchett of the 150th Johnson County. House Bill 1157 by Representative Hatchett of the 150th Johnson County. House Bill 1159 by Representative Green in the 151st Calhoun County. House Bill 1160 by Representative Green in the 151st Clay County. House Bill 1161 by Representative Green in the 151st Clay County. House Bill 1162 by Representative Pruitt of the 149th Telfair County. House Bill 1163 by Representative Pruitt of the 149th Dodge County. House Bill 1164 by Representative Pruitt of the 149th Dodge County. House Bill 1165 by Representative Pruitt, Wheeler County. House Bill 1166 by Representative Yurt of the 152nd Lee County. House Bill 1167 by Representative Rhodes of the 120th Talaferro County. House Bill 1168 by Representative Perkle of the 155th Turner County. House Bill 1169 by Representative Perkle of the 155th Turner County. House Bill 1170 by Representative Taylor of the 173rd Thomas County. House Bill 1171 by Representative Dickey, the 140th Monroe County. House Bill 1172 by Representative Dickey of the 140th Monroe County. House Bill 1173 by Representative Belton of the 112th Morgan County. House Bill 1174 by Representative Belton of the 112th Morgan County. House Bill 1190 by Representative Scoggins of the 14th Bartow County. And House Bill 1191 by Representative Smith of the 18th City of Bremen.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? It is time to vote. Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the ayes are 133, the nays are 11, and these bills have passed on the local calendar. What purpose does Chairman Tankersley rise?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a motion.
State your motion.
I move we immediately transmit the local calendar to the Senate.
Chairman Tankersley has moved that the local calendar just approved by this House be immediately transferred to the Senate. Is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. We're going on now to mourning orders. Going on to mourning orders. Chair is going to ask that members who speak on mourning orders limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes each. The chair recognizes for a mourning order Representative LaRicchia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It probably doesn't come as a surprise to many of you that I'm up here this morning to offer an apology. If you know me and had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with me, you'll see that I can be a liability to be around. You might get in a little trouble, but I will also say that if you know me and you're going into battle, I'm the guy you want standing beside you. But that does not excuse an inappropriate action or behavior or speech, and if you'll ask my wife, she'll tell you I'm prone to all of that. However, it's made me pretty good at apologizing. There's a lot that I can say, and I've even heard the word hypocrite. Let me be clear about something with the word hypocrite. We all are, and I am the chief. We are all broken. We are all in need of guidance and advice and wisdom and grace and mercy. So I'm going to quote the rabbi that we heard this morning, and I'm going to keep it short. I love this house, and I love you. I'm sorry for what I did, and in case anybody doesn't know, I was the goofball in the panoramic picture that thought it would be cute or naughty or a little funny to make a gesture with my bird finger, and none of that was cute or funny, but it was definitely naughty and inappropriate. I apologize. I hope that you'll extend me a little bit of grace and forgiveness. I love you, and I love this house, and God bless y'all.
Chair recognizes the chairman of the House Ethics Committee, Chairman Randy Nix, for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Suspend. If you don't wish to hear the morning orders, there's plenty of room in the anteroom or out in the hall. Otherwise, the chair is going to expect that you give attention to the member in the well. Gentlemen may proceed.
Friends of the House, I've been honored to serve in this House for 16 years. Now, the old adage that the days are long and the years are short is really true. There have been some long, long days, but the years have gone just like that. It has been such an awesome honor. I come in here every day and I look around and I'm amazed that I'm here. Do you realize the history that's in this building? Do you realize that there are almost 11 million people in this state? There are 180 state representatives. I am one. I'm one. I sit at that desk right over there. Right on the front row. I didn't start on the front row. I started way back in the middle, but I'm on the front row. I've got a thing there that's got buttons on it. It's got a red button, you vote no. Got a green button, you vote yes. It's got a button you can press to speak. It is such an amazing thing to me, and it is so very, very special. But you know what? You're just as special. You're just as special as I am. You were elected to come here. You represent about 60,000 people. You are given the title of the Honorable Representative, just like I am. You're special. You've got the same voting apparatus there on your desk. You represent people who believe in you, and they sent you here to take care of the people's business. And you know what? In a lot of your districts, I couldn't get elected. But most of you, or a lot of you, could not get elected in my district. It's just that way. But when we come here, unfortunately, we come here with differences. We come here with competition on our mind. We come here with contention. We're almost like the court system. We come here almost as an adversarial situation. We start off, maybe in a primary. You've either got to outright or out left whoever's in the primary with you. You make it to the general. You got an R and a D. You're already beginning to divide up. And then you get down here, you got rural, you got urban. You got conservative, you got liberal or progressive. We've got the full gamut of political ideologies in this house. We've got caucuses of everything you can think of. We've got a majority caucus. We've got a minority caucus. And I can go on and on and on as how we divide ourselves up on these things. And that's before we even swear in. But we come here because decisions have to be made. We come here with this volatile mix of people that I've just mentioned, with all of these differences. And I've got a question for you. What keeps us from just being a mob? What prevents us from just being a mob of 180 people? people who decided about making the rules for the House kind of solved that for us. If you look at the House Rules, Ethics, and Decorum of the House of Representatives, Rule 1.1 says this: all members and staff of the House shall conduct themselves at all times with dignity, and with respect for others, in a manner to ensure appropriate decorum in the deliberations of the House and to reflect the responsibilities incumbent upon a member or staff of the House. Dignity. You know, the fact that we are elected by the people and we hold this special office means we're held to a higher standard. That respect that you get, that what's given to you when you come in here and you get all of these things, you're to be held to a higher standard because of that. You know, this word dignity is an interesting word. It's not a long word, but it's a powerful word. Here's the definition: dignity, bearing, conduct, or speech indicative of self-respect or appreciation of the formality or gravity of an occasion or situation. Indicative of self-respect or appreciation. I want to share just a couple of things with you, and I'm going to be more than 2 minutes, Mr. Speaker, but you said I could. I was looking at the word dignity, and it means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to you. A guy by the name of Michael Wynn wrote this: dignity, listen to this, dignity is the ability to stand strong and tall in the face of adversity while being able to bow to the elderly and crawl with the children. Dignity is taking a stand for your beliefs without closing your mind to another's opinion. Dignity is being an example by your deeds and through your words, avoiding gossip, anger, and lies. And finally, he says, dignity will manifest itself in the warmth of your smile, the depth of your love, and kindness for your fellow man. Another person says it this way: knowing when to walk away is wisdom, being able to is courage, walking away with your head held high is dignity. You're all special people. People sent you here because they trust you. But they sent you here to do something. They sent you here to do the people's business. Not to promote yourself, but to do the people's business. And for that, they believe you should be held to a higher standard. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about conducting yourself while you're here as if what you're doing and what you're saying is being live streamed directly to your mother, to your family, to your pastor. Think of the person that you admire the most in this world that you would hate to disappoint. And imagine that everything that you do and you say while you're in this house is live streamed directly to them. And we all have that person. I think about my third grade teacher. I'd hate to do anything in the world that would ever go back to her because she poured herself into me. But just think about that. Please conduct yourself with dignity, treat others with dignity, and remember, this is important, the people have entrusted us with the honor and dignity of this house. At this moment in time, we're building on the history that's out there. We're going to pass it on. Let's join arms together and leave it better than we found it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dickey for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman Nix, for that. Wow, I hate to follow that. On a different note, today is Georgia Farm Bureau Day at the Capitol. It's Georgia's largest farm organization with over 250,000 members and offices in every county. And I hope you'll stop by your local office and visit them and see what they're doing to promote and encourage agriculture throughout our state. And they also sell a little insurance as well. You know, a few years ago, this House lost a great farmer and a great ag chairman in Tom McCall. But Farm Bureau gained a great president with he and his wife, Jane. And so on behalf of Georgia Farm Bureau, I'd like to invite you to have lunch down at the depot today as soon as this session's over. And they also have their mobile classroom out in the street, what was formerly Washington Street, and tour that. And just want to say a shout out to our Georgia Farm Bureau organization in this state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Corbett, Chairman Stevens, Majority Whip Hatchett, and Representative Ridley for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. February 8th today is Dyslexia Day at the Capitol also. In 1994, the National Institute of Health conducted a study. Here's some of their findings. Dyslexia is identifiable with 92% accuracy between the ages of 5.5 and 6.5. Dyslexia represents the most common of all known learning disabilities. Dyslexia is the leading cause of reading failure and school dropouts in the nation. Early intervention is essential for this population. Children do not outgrow reading failure or dyslexia. To say it better, children do not mature out of reading disabilities. Early detection is critical, and they can go on to do many great things. Some of the famous people with dyslexia, just a few: Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Muhammad Ali, Bill Gates, Steven Spielberg, Magic Johnson, Tim Tebow, and a future famous person that lives in my district, Gabe Hewling, young man. His mom wouldn't take he's a male, just learn slower, just give him time. She got him tested. He had dyslexia, and he's doing great things, excelling in school. Early intervention is critical. We've got a group at the Capitol today, Decoding Dyslexia. Please take the time to get to talk to these young kids that's right around here. They've got unique stories, but at the same time, let them know that we're going to do all we can to help promote their cause. Thank you again.
Chair recognizes Representative Al Williams, Chairman Hogan, Representative Saines, Representative DeLoach, Chairman Hitchens, and Representative Edna Jackson for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On February the 3rd, 1971, at 10:53 in the morning, a Thiokol chemical plant blew up in Woodbine, Georgia. I've asked some folk to join me that were directly and sometimes indirectly involved, starting with Representative Hitchens, who as a young state patrol was one of the first responders. And I don't want to offend anybody, but he said that that was the most horrendous scene he'd ever seen, even being a Vietnam combat veteran with bodies and body limbs hanging from trees. 29 people lost their life that morning. Over 100 were permanently maimed. Unfortunately, OSHA did not do its job. The plant was not safe. It was listed incorrectly as a 2 when it should have been a 7. They were building flares for the Vietnam War, and the folk there did not know how dangerous they were. I chose this morning because the vast majority of the people that died were African American, although some whites died. But the help came from as far away as Savannah and as far south as Florida. People came and ran to this tragedy. First responders were very, very important. There's a move about toward the Medal of Freedom from Congress to those who are survivors and those that died. I'm going to do a resolution to that effect. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, but for just a moment of silence for that great tragedy. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Burchett, Chairman Corbett, Representative Saines, Chairman Lynn Smith, and Chairman Darlene Taylor for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, colleagues. Today is Okefenokee Day at the Capitol. We have a proclamation here. I'm going to read a few excerpts. If you have not been to the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia, myself and my delegation invite you to come. It is one of the most wondrous places to be, where you can witness God's greatness in the natural environment. The state of Georgia is blessed with the unrivaled beauty of the Okefenokee Swamp, the largest blackwater wetland in North America. Whereas the Okefenokee Swamp is recognized as one of Georgia's 7 natural wonders and a natural area unique not only to the state of Georgia, but also the United States of America and the world. And whereas Okefenokee National Swamp Wildlife Refuge is nominated to be inscribed as a World Heritage Site as a designated by UNESCO as a natural site of outstanding universal value. The Okefenokee Swamp spans 438,000 acres, with 93% of it protected as the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge, including 353,000 acres designated as a National Wildlife Area by Congress. We again invite you to come down to Okefenokee anytime. You're welcome. Please phone me or any one of these delegates down here. We appreciate you, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Bennett for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to Chairman Nix. I'm going to have a live stream right now as I take my Black History moment in time. Today I rise to recognize this great man in my life, my dad, who would have been 91 years old on today. History, American history, my history, and because of something called process theology, we're all a part of each other's history. My father, Mr. Robert Leroy Leeper Jr., is undeniably a history maker that I am proud to stand here today to give honor to whom honor is due. My father, Mr. Robert Leroy Leeper Jr., lived a life, and he has been my hero, and his shero, and my shero stands beside him after 63 years of marriage. There was a saying that I learned in school that when you have a couple that is connected at the hip for so long, it takes, once one passes, it's not there much longer that the other one will pass. And on February the 14th, 2016, my daddy died, and 1 year later to the day, my mother passed also. So on the second Monday in January, both my parents, Robin and Gracie, were so proud to witness me, their daughter, in this chamber to be sworn in as a representative for House District 94. So today I rise to spotlight them, to streamline this up into heaven where I'm sure they are, and to recognize and say, happy birthday, Daddy. I love you and my mom. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this privilege to recognize my parents, Robert and Gracie Leeper. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Lynn Smith and Representative McLeod for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're here today for a story I wish to tell you I'm going to put this framed photograph up here of the 1996 Olympics. So I know I have 2 minutes, so I wrote my script. Today I rise to honor the memory of Muhammad Ali. I'm prompted to do so because of a recent TV segment showing Muhammad Ali's family visiting Atlanta's landmark 1996 ceremonial cauldron that Muhammad Ali was chosen to light, thus starting the 1996 Olympics. This episode reminded me of the time I met Muhammad Ali. It was, in fact, during the 1996 Olympics. I was an Olympic Village volunteer. I was assigned as a translator to the African nation of Benin. Benin is what we say now. My French was pretty good back then. Towards the end of the Olympics, I was accompanying the chef de mission, Monsieur Noble, around the Olympic Village when the word spread that Muhammad Ali was in the village. Monsieur Noble exclaimed to me that it would be his greatest joy to meet Muhammad Ali. I knew it was impossible, but I said, let's try. Well, I pushed and maneuvered us through the crowd, all the time switching from French to English, English to French. French for Monsieur Noble as I urged him to please keep up, and English to Muhammad Ali, like he heard me, right? Shouting, a leader from Benin would love to meet you. The next thing I knew, this very large bodyguard approached me, saying, Muhammad Ali wants to meet you. Really? So we followed him up to meet Muhammad Ali. I stood to the side, translating for them, ensuring that my experience would be just between the two of them, not me. When it was time to leave, Muhammad Ali stopped me and thanked me, the interpreter. He did not need to do that. It was not protocol, but he did. It was a brief handshake and 2 words, thank you. Words in a moment I have never forgotten. I want to leave you with this. Monsieur Noble met his hero that day, and thanks to Muhammad Ali, his kindness, I met a wonderful, caring man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Hutchinson for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today I bring to you 10-year-old Jahil. He is a smart, loving, caring, and energetic boy who enjoys music-related activities like listening to rap music and learning how to play the piano. Attention, Entertainment Caucus. He also enjoys playing with his toys and playing and watching basketball and football. Colleagues, Jahil is one of the hundreds of children that are available for adoption in Georgia today. Thank you, and I yield the well.
Chair recognizes Representative Cannon for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, members. I wanted to bring to you today the attention of an issue that has been near and dear to a lot of members, which is birth in Georgia. As many of you may know, I serve as a labor doula here in our hospitals in the state of Georgia. I serve clients who are as far down as Albany and as far up as Blue Ridge. You see, as a labor doula, sometimes you're compensated by those who can pay you, and in other states, you're compensated by Medicaid. Unfortunately, in our state, we have seen that birth workers have only been able to be compensated by individual pay. And so I want to just talk to you a little bit about what it looks like to be a labor doula or a direct entry midwife in Georgia right now. It means that you're providing care to people who would generally receive Medicaid services, but the state doesn't actually include it. Every other state surrounding us, Florida, Tennessee, North and South Carolina, Alabama, and Mississippi, all allow for direct entry midwives. Those are midwives who are trained in emergency response care for birth and have those who are support workers to them, labor doulas like myself. We're struggling right now in Georgia because, as I reported to you yesterday and the AJC reported, the births at home have gone up 29% over the past years because of COVID-19, of course. On your desk, of course, I have some information about it, but the goal is really to increase the opportunity for legislators to just understand that birth is natural. And the ways that birth is happening right now in the state of Georgia, we can all relate to. Whether you were born at home or whether you were born in the hospital, I ask that you just take some time to get to know birth workers in Georgia. We'll be here all around the state capitol today. And if I can ever be of help to you, regardless of where you think I might be on the issue, I hope you come talk to me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That completes morning orders. What purpose does Chairman Werkheiser rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion.
I move that House Bill 1137 be moved from Public Safety and Homeland Security to Judiciary. Both chairmen agree.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 1137 by Representative Werkheiser and others to be entitled, an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 13 and Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions of administrative procedure.
On the motion of Chairman Werkheiser that House Bill 1137 be recommitted from the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee to the Judiciary Committee, is there objection? Is there objection? The chair hears none and it is so ordered. What purpose does Chairman Stevens rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion.
Speaker, I move that House Bill 1053 be moved from the Creative Arts and Entertainment Committee to Ways and Means.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 1053 by Representative Stevens and 164th and others to be entitled, an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7, Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the imposition rate computation exemptions and credits for state income tax.
On the motion of Chairman Stevens that House Bill 1053 be recommitted from the Creative Arts and Entertainment Committee to the Ways and Means Committee, is there objection? Is there objection? The chair hears none and it is so ordered. What purpose does Chairman Darlene Taylor rise?
To make a motion?
State your motion.
I move that House Bill 1248 and 1256 be moved from the Intergovernmental Coordination into Governmental Affairs, and both chairmen agree.
Clerk will read the caption to both.
House Bill 1248 by Representative Wilkerson of the 38th to be titled, an act to amend an act providing for the election of members of the Board of Education of Cobb County. House Bill 1256 by Representative Wilkerson of the 38th to be entitled, an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Cobb County.
On the motion of Chairman Taylor that House Bills 1248 and 1256 be recommitted from the Intergovernmental Coordination Committee to the Governmental Affairs Committee, is there objection? Chair hears none and it is so ordered. We are now going on to the rules calendar. Going on to the rules calendar. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 56.
House Bill 56 by Representative Cantrell of the 22nd to be entitled, an act to amend Code Section 1562, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating the number of judges to Superior Courts so as to provide for an additional judge of the Superior Courts of the Blue Ridge Judicial Circuit. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Cantrell to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, this bill is very simple. All it does is provide for an additional Superior Court judge position in the Blue Ridge Circuit. Judicial Council ranked this circuit as the second highest circuit of need in our state, with our judges working a work level of 1.5, and that was 2 years ago. Their workload has increased considerably since then. The bill was voted unanimously out of Judiciary Committee and all of our delegation, and local officials support the passage of this bill. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll stand for questions if there are any.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 56 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 56. The ayes are 148, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 263.
House Bill 263 by Representative Scoggins, the 14th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 471171 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating the amount of retirement benefits for judges of the probate courts. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary. This bill having referred to the Committee on Retirement. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Scoggins to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I bring to you today House Bill 263, and this bill does only one thing. It would allow for a more current mortality table for determining the benefits for a survivor of a probate judge. The current table used now was used back in 1951, so we need to update that table, please. And I'll stand for questions if there is any.
No questions.
Thank you. I yield the will.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 263 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 263. The ayes are 150, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 1045.
House Bill 1045 by Representative Gaines, the 117th, and others to be titled an act to amend Chapter 9 on Title 34 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to workers' compensation so as to extend the time period for the dissolution of the subsequent injury trust fund. This bill having referred to the Committee on Industry and Labor. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Houston Gaines to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1045, there are two parts to this legislation. Both are simply changing dates. The first part, which is sections 1 through 6, maintains the employer contribution rate at 2.64%, with the administrative assessment at 0.06%, rates we've had since 2017. Should this not pass, the employer contribution rate would increase to 2.7%. The administrative assessment fee would increase to 0.08%. This legislation extends these rates through 2026. The legislature has implemented extensions every few years since 1987. In 2016, extension of this sunset passed unanimously. The second part of the legislation, Section 7, extends the Subsequent Injury Trust Fund for 2 years, from 2023 to 2025. The Subsequent Injury Trust Fund was started in 1977 to encourage employers to hire and retain qualified employees with disabilities. Subsequent injuries were picked up by the fund as they occurred. Insurance companies and self-insurers have paid assessments yearly into the fund since 2019, when it was decided there was enough funds accumulated to pay for all future benefits. The fund quit accepting cases in 2006. They are down from over 10,000 cases to 645 cases. The program is self-funded, so this does not cost the state or taxpayers. And by passing this legislation, it will allow the Subsequent Injury Trust Fund to continue to lower its caseload and help more workers close their cases. In 2025, the program would be transferred to the Department of Insurance. In 2015, extension of the Subsequent Injury Trust Fund also passed unanimously. Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to answer a question.
Do you yield for questions? You have a lot of questions.
Mr. Speaker, I'll yield for one, and then I'll.
Okay. Chair recognizes Representative Stacey Evans to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
I'm a litigator. I live my life by the grace of deadlines, both from judges and from opposing counsel, as most people do. So I don't have any problem generally with extensions of time. But when you say we've given extensions regularly since 1987, we haven't had any more cases since 2006, which by my math is 16 years ago. I understand we've got 9 employees over there. Last year, we settled 57 cases out of the 645. At that rate, we're going to need a lot more than 4 years. So I don't mind giving extensions, but I want to know to what end, because it seems to me we've got people that are lagging out there, waiting for attention. These are working people. So tell me how this is actually going to alleviate problems for these working Georgians.
Sure. Well, thank you for the question. The 1987 piece was the Department of Labor assessment that we've given extensions for every 5 years, not related to the Subsequent Injury Trust Fund. So we have extended the Subsequent Injury Trust Fund. We last did that in 2015. As I said, in 2006 there were over 10,000 cases. We're down to 645. So there has been progress made, and 2 more years would allow additional progress before the program is transferred to the Department of Insurance.
Will you yield for another question?
I will.
But if we have settled only, as I understand it, 12 cases in the last year, how are 2 more, 4 more, 6 more, even 8 more going to do it? Aren't we at the point where we need to settle what we can and let the rest be handled administratively forever and ever, amen?
So as I understand it, they are on the verge of settling quite a bit more. As I said, they went from 10,000 to 645. The program is going to be transferred to the Department of Insurance. That's what the legislation did several years ago. It's going to transfer the department, but this would give the current Subsequent Injury Trust Fund the ability to get that down even further, and so that's what the legislation does, in addition to, again, the Department of Labor component, keeping the rates as we have them since 2017, which those rates would increase if we didn't pass this. So, Mr. Speaker, with that, I'll yield the well and ask the body's favorable consideration.
You don't want to take any more questions?
I'll yield.
Okay. Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. What purpose does Representative Kennard rise?
Parliamentary Inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that the governor has appropriated $150 million in part to fund this, and with 4 more years and $150 million, the expectation should be to settle all these cases?
Well, I think it is. The first part is certainly true in terms of the amount of the appropriation or the allocation. What purpose does Representative Evans rise?
Parliamentary Inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that if that $150 million is appropriated, which I believe that it is as well, it certainly could be spent between now and December 31, 2022, which is the current sunset?
I believe that that is the case. All right, one more parliamentary inquiry. What purpose does Representative Holly rise?
Parliamentary.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that for those of us who heard this case in our committee meeting, for those that actually voted against it, after realizing that both sides actually came to an agreement that we voted in, that now we'll likely vote in favor of it?
If the gentleman so states. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 1045. The ayes are 116, the nays are 37. This bill, having received a requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. House Bill 961 will be postponed until the next legislative day. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Honoring the life and memory of Russell Carricker. Honoring the life and memory of Gloria Elaine Doss. Recognizing and commending Ethan Pham. Recognizing and commending Moses Missionary Baptist Church on the occasion of its 115th anniversary. Recognizing February 8th, 2022 is Georgia Stomp Day at the state capitol. Recognizing January 28, 2022 is John Evans Day. Saluting the 100th anniversary of the Brazelton Women Club. Recognizing and commending Athens Clarke County Police Chief Cleveland Spruill. Recognizing and commending the Georgia State University team on its outstanding performance and victory in the 2021 Tax Act Camellia Bowl. Honoring the life and memory of Russell Carricker and other purposes. That completes the reading of the privilege resolution.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. If you have signed up for an announcement, somebody stole my line over there. Is that Chairman Tarvin? You do this better than I do. If you signed up for an announcement, please make your way down to the front and be prepared to go. Chair recognizes Representative Buckner for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are the #1 forestry state, and tonight is a reception at the depot from 5 to 7, so please join the Georgia Forestry Association at their reception. Have a good time. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Representative Alexander for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Women Caucus meeting, we will meet in room 307 to pick up lunches and jump on a Zoom meeting. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Chairman Jones, Todd Jones, for an announcement.
Hey, good afternoon, colleagues. The Mental Health Caucus will meet on Thursday at noon. 2 experts, one on insurance parity and one on the co-responder model. We hope that you can join us. Lunch will be served. 341.
Chair recognizes Chairman Green for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The state properties meeting will be tomorrow at 3:30, room 403, the state capitol. That's February the 9th in room 403, state properties meeting. We've got a full agenda, so please come.
Chair recognizes Chairman Tarvin for an announcement.
The Insurance Committee Property and Casualty Subcommittee will meet in CLOB 406 at 1 p.m. 406 CLOB, 1 p.m.
Chair recognizes Representative Gullett for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two quick announcements. One, 3 o'clock today, Governmental Affairs Redistricting and Elections Special Subcommittee. That's in room 341 here in the Capitol. Also, a reminder about tomorrow's Governmental Affairs Full Committee. It's at 2 o'clock in room 406, the CLOB. Thank you so much.
Chair recognizes Chairman Knight for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know there's some rumors in the hall about possible PBM carve-out bill regarding the carve-out of managed prescription drugs out of managed Medicaid. It is here. This is the same bill that this body passed in 2000 by 168 yea votes with only 5 nay votes. If you want to sign on to this bill, please come up here. I'm going to have it up here for a little bit. If not, please come to my office and sign. You may have heard from your community in support of this bill. This is it. Thank you.
You're not suggesting that people engage in rumors out in the hall here, are you? I've been here a few years. I've never heard that. Ever. Chair recognizes Representative Timothy Barr for an announcement.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Natural Resources, listen up. We have the Natural Resources Resource Management Subcommittee. We'll meet upon adjournment 1 o'clock at 6:06 CLOB. Thanks so much.
Chair recognizes Representative Earhart for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Regulatory Subcommittee of Regulated Industries will meet at 2:30 today in CLOB room 506.
All right, listen up. We have one very important item of business. Well, we got another announcement. Chair recognizes Chairman Cooper for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Health and Human Services will meet at 2 today in 606 the CLOB. Health and Human Services at 2. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, so tomorrow will be the birthday of the chairman of the Game, Fish, and Parks Committee, Chairman Trey Rhodes. But don't bother him tomorrow. He is studying the proposed resolution naming the possum the official marsupial of the state of Georgia. You keep working. Got another announcement. Chair recognizes Chairman England for an announcement.
Sorry about that, Mr. Speaker. I just realized tomorrow is a committee work day, but the Appropriations Committee will be meeting on Thursday morning. All the subcommittees will start at 7 o'clock in room 341. We'll roll out of the subcommittees into the full committee as soon as they're finished, getting ready to roll the amended budget to the floor, hopefully by the end of this week. Thank you.
Last call. Last call for announcements. Are you serious? Chair recognizes Chairman Lumsden for an announcement.
There will be a meeting of the Insurance Committee, full committee tomorrow at 10 a.m., CLOB 506. Thank you.
I'm just going to go ahead and recognize the majority leader now. Chair recognizes the majority leader for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate you getting to me. Finally, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand in recess until 4 p.m. today and then stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, February the 10th, 2022.
Leader Burns has moved that this House will stand in recess until 4 o'clock p.m. today, whereupon we will be adjourned until Thursday, February 10th at 10 a.m., which means that tomorrow is a committee day, and every committee should be meeting tomorrow. So on the motion of the majority leader that this House be adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, all those in favor will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and this House will be in recess until 4 o'clock today, and then we will stand adjourned until Thursday at 10 a.m.